Well, here I am today. How to start a little bit of pre-drawing journaling um, before anyone gets in the room. Uh, had a had an interesting night last night where I went to see my college friend, and we had a really good time over dinner and just drumming up old memories about bands and about personal history and trying to coordinate something for the future. And um, Yeah, yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then it inspired me. He was like, well, you know, you're a handsome guy. You gotta go out and get yourself a girlfriend or something. I'm like, yeah, having a rough time with that in that department lately. Anyway, it did inspire me to go out and have a drink or two or three or four. And so I did. Really hurt, really bunged up my right ankle. And Um, I don't know. Anyway, point is I ended up meeting these two women. They were both young mothers, actually three women, but they didn't know. They didn't know each other. Meaning, two of them didn't know the third one. So they were all hanging out, and one of them ended up getting into some sort of drama at the bar and taking off. Faith was her name, oddly enough, and so Faith left, and um, what ended up happening? The other two and I played pool with another guy and had a real good time and got to know each other. And then we sat at the bar and chit-chatted, and then we decided to go eat. And it was really funny. One woman was getting spooked by this other guy at the bar, but she was also probably diabetic and needed to get some food in her system, so really wanted to go eat. So the three of us decided to go eat, but we were all going to drive separate cars. Well, only two of us ended up showing up. So when two of us ended up showing up, um, it was, um, I don't know how to put it. Uh, uh, it was a good time. So we just sat there and we talked about art and about what do you say, marketing art. She was kind of a promotion person, so that was really good. Anyway, and today it really sucks. I had a great conversation with Zombie Picture Show. There's someone in the room now named Sworm. First person, hey Sworm. And had a great conversation yesterday with Zombie Picture Show, and um, which I thought was one of the best, and then it wouldn't upload. The whole file just it wouldn't upload. So instead of doing two cameras in Chinese chat, I'm just going to do one for now on. And because I think that might have caused the problem with the YouTube upload. But anyway, we were talking what seemed to be an argument again, epistemology versus ontology, whether or not um, he says we are in a world of facts, not things. And I brought up, well, could we both be in a world of facts and things? And then he kind of pulled back on that and said, well, yeah, it's the way the language is organized that I think he was saying in which you would use things as just another word or another fact in your life. And so it was kind of interesting because I was like, okay, but that kind of sounds like a solipsistic, even a spiritual note of epistemology that one could retract from and see the environment from which that came, the history of, natural birth and natural knowledge inheriting previously held knowledges, So you're not just in a solipsistic frame, even though you are in your own world. And then we got into whether or not one always does and lives in their own better self-interest. And so, my contention is that you can move against your own better self-interest, and to really deconstruct the self, you must do that. But I don't necessarily recommend it. I'm just saying I think that as far as personal deconstruction, you have to move against your ideologies. So we talked a little bit about that and just kind of about life in general. And he's such an acute guy. He's so well read in the way he can choreograph his word structures so piercingly accurate, sentence by sentence. That's what I appreciate about Zombie Picture Show. Is he's really solid in that way. So I feel kind of bad that we had this hour-long discussion and it ended up not loading. It was my favorite man. So if you see this man, come on back. Join in again. Join in again. Ooh, ooh. I once met a kid who cried like that. Ooh, ooh. All right, so Sworm, what do you got for me? What you got for me is I'm working on my painting today. If you're going to type anything, go ahead and type something. Okay, I decided that my cheeseburger and pig need to be larger, so I've got to erase both of them. Going to get everything done properly in the sketch stage. Kind of hate to have to redraw everything, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Anyway, yeah, back on that logical positivism. Um, I asked him whether or not to fall into the belief that everything is, are facts, not things. Whether or not that is more of a spiritual sort of belief, because you'd be left thinking, God, everything is just a fact. These things around us are nothing but facts. It's the fact that we know them. It's what we call them. It's language. It's just language that's adding up in this particular fashion. And I thought that would really, when I believed that, because I put that in the past tense if I used to believe that, before I boiled that down to an epistemological, logical, positivist kind of crystalline logic structure, and listened to Wittgenstein say, well, he said something akin to, I think, the job of the philosopher is to let the fly out of the fly bottle, or to be the fly and fly out of the fly bottle. Way to go, Mike. Way to misquote Wittgenstein, your old favorite pal, your old favorite philosopher. Anyway, and so the whole idea is whether or not that kicked him into a spiritual mode, because it would be as if you were just seeing the world as facts. Would be kind of like you're seeing it as a movie, just a movie going by. You're not really breathing the air. You're more necessarily always in a matrix. And in a way, it retracted me talking about it into this mode of thinking that was very much like the mode I was in when I was being what I want to say is alien seduced by aliens, to find a particular location on the planet. Such an odd thing to say. A particular location on the planet. Anyway, and so I kind of question him. Where I disagree is the maintenance. And I'm like, well, no, we are still things. We are things. We are organisms, and, you know, even Anton argues for the ontology as primacy over epistemology. That's like how to discuss that. And perhaps I'm way off, perhaps Wittgenstein is not simply arguing for an epistemology. It's just that that's ultimately how I escaped the fly bottle, so to speak, as I let go and believed, oh no, I am a thing. But I also, contrary to that, I have to regress and go back to, no, it's just a series of facts about my life, that ultimately it is a series of facts, and valuations of self, facts and valuations, and it's how you evaluate your life that's I think, really, really important. So, and good old Swarm, he hasn't added anything to the discussion yet. Somebody told me, I'm trying to remember who it was, somebody told me that they can't, oh, it was Analogous. He told me that even though he listens to my videos, he has a hard time commenting on them. He's not certain what he would say as a comment. And I sat there and I thought, well, guy, I get quite a few views, and for people that get this many views, they sure get a more, a greater percentage of comments. But I thought perhaps I'm vague and lofty, and I just meander all over the place, and it's not very, it doesn't gel, and I'm not being positional, and hence argumentative, and hence, people arguing back to me. I don't know for sure. I don't know. Oh, right on. We got another guest. Maybe another two. Time to look up a piggy. Come here, little piggy. Yes, I still have my democracy shirt on from yesterday. Yes, I have not showered since the last video. Yes, it was a long, strung-out night, and I just got up and I want my coffee. Ah, Spaced Out is back. And one day we're going to find out who Spaced Out is. Okay. Piggy bank. Oh yeah, I gotta put money in. Money. Guns, cigarettes, clowns, money. Hello, hello. Oh shit. What did I do? Nothing. Good thing. I scared the hell out of my cat. My cat is an indoor cat. Every time I take it outside, it freaks out. It left so much fur on me. It was awful. Something I'm noticing about YouTube is that I only, on my subscriptions now, instead of being able to reload another page of like 25 videos, it limits everything to about 25 videos. Then there's no new load more button at the bottom. It's completely awful. And Google searches suck now. You used to go as far and as long as you wanted, and now it only gives you, I think, 200 results. And when I look up piggy bank, it's this awful selection of piggy banks. I think I'm just going to look up pigs. Need something. Something else to get us through, yeah. No, I gotta put a pig up top. I can't put a pig down below, but a pig roast, like a luau pig, that's what's got to go down below. And that idea of eating meat is somewhat of a dark fact of our lives. roosting pig. God damn. So what else do you guys got? There's 3 people in the room now. That is fabulous. God. Yeah, I'm glad I became a vegetarian. Just looking at this is just like I feel like that's, you know, unfortunately for all spirituality involved, that my destiny may be over fire, being cooked like a pig. Ugh. Oh God. And then they put pineapples over its eyes. Anyway, maybe I don't want to linger on that. I figured the first videos that I do where I'm depicting things that I find a little bit repulsive would be a good, you know, there'll be a transition when I move to doing the earthly area, and then you know, even a different transition of philosophy when I'm painting the heavenly part. But I mean, Hawaii has luau's, but I mean, were there native boars and pigs on the Hawaiian Islands that just, you know, that made luau's a common thing? Who knows? I mean, maybe somebody knows that. Yes, now I've got it. I almost want to depict just the idea of art itself as a kind of evil. It's a weird thing to say I want to do. Well, I was thinking about redoing the Amendum one and really, um, you know, choreographing it and not doing a single shot attempt at a musical, because that one compared to the Anton one was fail. But I sure enjoyed doing it. Um, it's like I gotta be primed, you know. Everything I do works on instinct and kind of out of the moment. You know, if I'm felt and driven to do something or a project, I generally do it. Um, I'm working on something called the Art Housing Project now, which is aim is to house the homeless. And I figure if I was to able to build the company the way I want and have it develop to full fruition, I could house 18 families at one time and then rotate them out of support as soon as they were, you know, they were able to support themselves, which would be the goal of the project. And the project is multi-level marketing, though, selling art on a multi-level marketing basis. So not everybody would find that excellent, but some people, you know, might find the charity aspect of it uh, a reasonable, you know, a reasonable ethical approach to that kind of capitalism. Yeah, good. I don't know whether or not you're sarcastic or not. Good luck with that. Yeah, no doubt. Good luck with that one, motherfucker. You ain't got no chance in hell to pull that one off. Or maybe you are wishing me good luck on it. Who knows? Oh, okay. No, no sarcasm. Right on. Yeah. Well, if if you want to donate $10 to it, you just go to Indiegogo and search for small businesses, and then search for the Art Housing Project, and it'll pull up. if I'm lucky today, I should have $10 on it, where I'm seeking $5,500 with like 20 days left. But I was going to take out some loans for it. I'm still waiting to hear back from the programmer giving me a quote on everything, but it's going to run a $2,000 to $3,000 for the programming. So anyway, that's what's for dinner. That's what's up. That's what's on the chopping block. And it ain't no musical, but it's something. Something, 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 something. So apparently we're going into the Chinese Year of the Horse, which, or maybe this is the Year of the Horse. I have to check. That will be a substantial year for a Sagittarian such as myself. Being part horse, you know, from the waist up. Part peanut from the waist down. Yeah. uh, I don't know if we were on GD. I don't know what GD mean. Good terms. GT. That's what I thought you might mean. We you know, it ruffled his feathers, and then yeah, the musical ruffled his feathers a tad, and then it calmed down, and then we had a few messages sent back and forth. I kind of apologized to him for you know, if I was getting too personal, and you know, not really trying to wreck the guy. And you know, he kind of made it seem like bygones be bygones, but for a while there, you know, I disagree with some of his rudimentary assumptions, and so, you know, philosophically, and because of that, um, you know, anytime I pop my head up, and I was doing videos that I've since privatized that were kind of challenging his notion of what, you know, he takes on generality. Why can I not say that right now? Generality, the generality of um, of what it is to speak language. So he always assumes that we language speakers, we speakers, we people that live with the inheritance of an alphabet and a uh, you know, of literacy and of the mass printed word. And he's always talking about the we, and he's not looking at primitive cultures. He's not including primitive cultures. And then it boiled down to I disagree with him that there's, you know, because reportedly evidenced that there are such things as languages that are not recursive. And they were found in South America, Middle America. The Piraha have a non-recursive language, which went totally against Chomsky, and it went against some of the base assumptions that Anton puts forth in his argumentation. So he qualified it, and he said us Indo-European language speakers. So he did a workaround to appease me, which was good, and that's kind of when we got on a little bit better terms, I feel. Anyway, maybe another musical might be in order. Oh, wow, my favorite authors, Douglas Adams, is a good one. I really like Derrida. Derrida just speaks to me. Um, um, I read a lot of Wittgenstein, so he's a favorite in terms of what he did to me and for me. Um, and I don't read a lot of fiction. I don't know, you know, authors is it's more like it's just more like the content that they lay down as opposed to the author itself. But some um, I went through a phase where I was reading a buttload of poetry, and The City in Which I Love You In is a Japanese author, but right now I can't remember his name. But I remember just is it Rilke? Rilke, I think it's Rilke, um, or Rilke, however you want to pronounce it. And he just smoothed my gut out, smoothed me out. I prefer the late Wittgenstein. Yeah, okay, you're writing that in correctly. How is this going here? It's still going. Oh, I don't even have a close-up of what I'm doing. Just kind of bantering. Right on. Yeah, but who are you? Who are you, guest? Uh-oh. Space Dad's gotta go. I don't know why I do these videos because I feel better about myself somehow disclosing something, so I'm not afraid to be myself in public any longer. I need some form of transparency from the world that is really important. And doing videos in the first place really helps, but doing a long, stringy stream of consciousness while I'm painting kind of can drum up some things. But there's a problem with recording in the fact that I know I'm recording makes me feel like I need to speak, and so I don't have that silent meditation that brings about these really subtle memories that would be really nice if I could just capture some of these subtle memories. Like today, I woke up once again. It was very mystical. I woke up to a train sound, and I had my cat on me, and my cat was sniffing my nose, rubbing its nose ever so lightly on my nose, and kind of humming to my breath. And it felt like something very sinister that I had to move into, like relax, relax, focus in on the very dot. It was before I opened my eyes, hearing a train horn, and this little dot on my nose, and it's as if when I see a dot of light, it's like seeing a star. It's like seeing a hole put through a piece of paper. And it's as if feeling the dot on my nose became a light in my mind, and I was trying to meditate and put all of my energy into this little dot, into this little star. And somehow I didn't relax fast enough or truly enough in my waking moment, and the cat got kind of upset, and he reached over and he stepped on my nipple, and it just hurt. And it was almost like I was being punished for not falling into the morning star in my mind fast enough. It was the damnedest, weirdest way to wake up. Anyway, um, no, let me type it in and see if I can find the author I'm talking about. I like Rilke too, but Rilke isn't the author of the same book. By Lee Young Lee, L-I Young L-E-E, The City in Which I Love You. That book was one of my favorite books, and yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the guy's Chinese, but I'm pretty sure he's Japanese. Yeah, this woman I met last night, she's mulatto and was talking about being, each family that she goes to not being to quite fully accept her, and that I don't know, she's like the character on that Will Smith show, TV show, The Prince of Bel-Air. That's black because she dresses all white. People go, oh, you dress white, and accuse her of that. But anyway, she said, we got to discussing journaling, and she talked about how good it is to journal, and I thought, these videos can be kind of like journaling to me. It was a long time ago that I read the book, and I had met this woman, and I was laying on the beach in LA, and we had both read the book, and we were rereading some of it under a blanket at night. And she was this ginger woman with really, she lived on a beach, so her skin was, even though she was young, it was super dry and crackly white skin with freckles, kind of albino-y. And it was this weird feeling of really bonding with this woman through the book in a way that wasn't overtly sexual. It wasn't even about base attraction, even though my hormones were running a lot stronger then than they do now. Um, and and the book just kind of guided. It was like a guide for romance, and it really helped me define LA as a city in which I loved whomever I met down there, and I viewed it based, peripherally on a locality. It's like each city has its own tonality, and the way you vibrate in that tone in that area, really reflects that the avenues and the corridors and the way he talked about moving through the city and the reflections he had off of architecture and people and the way the people moved in the city. And he was, I believe he's discussing San Francisco in the book. And, but it didn't matter. It played over into me. Into found poems. No, I don't know. I don't quite know what that is all about. Maybe you should tell me what a found poem is. Is that when there's a poem on the ground and you find it? Look, I just found this poem laying in the ditch. Why, I guess you found that poem now, didn't you? Yes, I did. I found that poem. Or like founded, like he founded the poem. Let's build a statue to this man. It's a found poem. Um, movies. I love I love movies. I love The Notebook. I love this movie called Words. I loved Fight Club. Um, I loved, I'm gonna get the names wrong, but it's like Sydney and Luann Forever. It's a boy's name and a girl's name, and it ends with Forever. And it's just a tragic love story. And then there's this movie. Oh God, I'm so bad with titles sometimes. It's got Garcia in it. What is Garcia's first name? Why am I losing? Sometimes I just memories just leave me. But the semi-famous actor with the last name of Garcia, who's been around, um, he did this movie that was the name of a city, like in New York, like not Staten Island, but something. Ah, yeah. See, what I do is when I rent movies, I keep Netflix sends out an email, and I make certain not to delete that email so that I can go back and like, oh yeah, that's the movie I saw, that's the movie I saw. Even though my Netflix account also keeps a record of the movies, uh, seeing them in my email in order and a certain date associated with them helps me, conjure up in my mind what that movie is. But no, no, not Lil Jeff Forever. It's two names. Two names. Um, yeah, yeah, I really like Blade Runner. I watched Payday by Philip K. Dick also. Um, Fleet Fleetwood Migrant. I think if I even remember his name now, Fleetwood Migrant or Fleet Migrant. He uh, he commented. I think it was him that commented that I reminded him of Philip K. Dick, and because of my experiences, and so immediately, and when I found out, yeah, he did Blade Runner, and he did that one show I watched with Iron Man. God, I'll just sit here and skip, like take a little sliver of visual memory of each person, and even though I lose their name, I want to reference them. So anyway, Woody Harrelson was in it. Um, the Scanner Darkly. That's it. You hit it on the head. Um, yeah, I like Scanner Darkly quite a bit. Keanu Reeves at the end, just kind of lost, losing his mind, enslaved, working for the the people that he was confused about. Hey, do you guys like Third Eye Blind? Yeah. Rotoscoping. Yeah, man, we're at 37 minutes, and I have some stalagmites, one stalactite, a roasted pig next to the train. It's just something's not right. Something's not right. Okay, what comes along with a burger? What kind of gluttonous crapple comes along with a burger? So I want to put some change down or something. Blah. The gnosis of Philip K. Dick is fun to explore. The more you do, the more disorienting. Yeah, yeah. Well, just what I read about his personal life, and when I read about Jung's Red Book, these things were all coming to me after I was coming down off of this alien uh, takeover, alien directional knowledge that I had that led me up to this red star. After I had all of that, I decompressed from it, and it literally changed. It was yet another event that totally gutted me and folded me inside out like a sock. And then recognizing different themes in movies. Like I thought I had to cherry pick from the universe to find things that were in reflective of this experience that I had, this new awareness, and it was like a cherry pick. But then it started to come more and more and more into day-to-day reality. Anything off of TV, any media, started affecting me very harshly. It's as if the barrier between self and environment was completely lost. And that's kind of where I agree with Zombie Picture Show and Wittgenstein, that the world is made up of facts, not things. It's as if everything was just a fact, the intercorrelated throughout me in a nice transparent way, and it did not allow for isolation any longer with the greater universe, and could be done in a static environment instead of a kinetic, organic environment. Um, I also liked 100 Years of Solitude, but I didn't get through the end of it. Angels and Demons, I didn't get through the end of it. I start reading books and I put a lot of books down. So it's interesting that you ask what my favorite books were. The Confessions of Aleister Crowley, I got about just over 1/3 of the way through that, and then skipped ahead and read, and I realized all he's doing is talking about mountain climbing all around the world, which what that did to me as a book was pretty impressive, pretty nice, just to vicariously live through somebody who mountain climbs so heavily. Yeah, I don't know who Tarkovsky Stalker is. Let the world be made of interactive processes, not things. Like Whitehead said. Boy, that's not thou art that as a guest, is it? Let the world be made of interactive processes. Yeah, I don't mind that idea. Um, I don't mind that idea. Um, of interactive processes, not things. Uh, my retort that we can't witness now in the conversation because the video failed to Zombie Picture Show was, why not the world is made up of both facts and things? And ultimately, I think the spirit lives in facts, and the organism lives in things. The epistemology lives in facts, and the body lives in ontology. And that didn't rhyme. Okay. Huh. Man, Whitehead, just having your name rhyme with a type of pimple or associated with a type of pimple is got to be a rough racket. Not as rough as my racket, but like the woman last name, she married a man named Goldman, and I thought, what a great name to marry into. No wonder I'm not married. I mean, it takes a very particular type of woman to want to marry a fail. Anyway, does Whitehead say that? Does Whitehead say made up of interactive things, not things, or interactive processes, not things? Or is that your take on him? Are you quoting him, or are you paraphrasing an idea that you think he might agree with? Okay. Well, then quit lying, sucker. we got a we got a lion, not a tiger, and he's a lion sucker. No, no. I think it's good to surmise the artist that you believe you have a grasp of. Artists, authors, everybody. Okay, time to rotate to this side. I can't do the tiny chat. I can only do a little bit of the YouTube videos. The tiny chat's on a desktop. And this is on a laptop, but I have this angel as a demon with demon skin on, and he's climbing out of hell holding a harp, taking up a golden harp that fell to hell. Of all reasons to go to hell is to reclaim a golden harp for heaven. And and what about it though? What about this guy? Oh yeah, his skin is being sheathed off by the upper angel. It's like the upper angel's helping him out, but making certain that he is who he thinks he is. because he's incognito. Not unlike the Scanner Darkly idea of being in that infinitely changing outward appearance kind of suit, you know, losing your identity because your environment always considers you a different entity. And I believe that's a safe road. As soon as you realize you are a different person to each person, each other person, and to some people you're a different person to them essentially every time you meet them, every time you're back with them. It's only through repetition and memory that we identify people as singular instances that we can recognize. That's what I say. That's what I think. Well, what do you think? Oh, that's what you think? That's really funny that you think that. Thinking is so overrated. Uh, oh, shit. Anyway, what do you guys think? What else you got for me? What other questions you want to throw my way so I can babble on? I mean, I should think of more authors and more movies because there's just bundles. And I mean, you guys are giving me good fodder to think through, kind of meditate on. I like Faust. What I'm doing is kind of a Faustian picture in my mind. Oh, great. Swarm left. Oh, Swarm's back. Great. Okay. But the other dude left. Oh well, what can I do? Can't control people. Just do the best I can, man. That's right, blood. Shit, blood. Y'all want to talk some titty? The best titty on Mithra. If either of you guys can guess which movie that is, I'll send you an art print for free. I'll do the whole quote again for you. And this goes for YouTube also. First person to put it in the comments wins a print from me. Okay, it goes. Say, blood, y'all want to talk some titty? Best titty on Mithra. Go for it. Go for it. Google it. I think I'm beyond Google. I think I fucking don't throw that all Google it shit. I've got something that Google doesn't have. I challenge you to Google that. Google's overrated. People rely too much on Google. Even though that's where I get some of my reference material from, is Google. Go figure. I think it's important that people record themselves because they're going to be recorded anyway in some capacity, and their transparency, the more you act with Google, the more this alien technology, the more see, I personally think we're going through, because I believe in aliens, it's kind of like Starfleet, seeing these different planets on different levels of technology and primitivism, and whether or not they've got warp capabilities yet or not, and you know, whether or not they can be a part of the Federation and so forth. And the internet is a way of globalizing everybody and having one computer, not one computer, but the internet as one singular entity absorbing every single possible fact that it can about human existence to the degree in which it's capable of absorbing the facts. And so I think the sooner you journal and you put forth and you feed the machine the more the other aliens are going to know about the variation of humans on the planet. Like everything's kind of transparent to them already, but to us, self-reflection. The internet is a form of humanity's self-reflection upon itself. And I don't want to hear any disagreement. Or I'll kick you. No, of course I won't kick you. Hang on a sec. I want to see what your comment is. I'm just going to fix this coffin. I'm going to fix this casket. Well, I'm glad you think it's fascinating because I have an instinct that says that that is what is happening. You know, and my experiences, I have no doubt of other more powerful intelligences, God, aliens, interdimensional creatures, controlling certain things when they want to do it. I don't doubt that any longer. And then the people that record ufology and they put it online, and ghost hunters, and they put it online, and I mean, I've seen films of orbs, even though I saw an orb with my own eyes in November 26, 2007, with my girlfriend, and she saw an orb as well. Uh, you know, because of that experience, and then seeing film, candid film from people that I know personally recording orbs, you know, I'm open, I'm entirely open to the idea now of other dimensions, things that science cannot control, therefore it cannot satisfy itself. And I don't know how many times I have to say it. I'm just waiting for people to start agreeing with me. Well, I believe in resurrection, meaning I shouldn't say I believe in it, I conjure imaginations of resurrection. I don't actually have a clue of what actually happens to individuals, you know, but I do think about physiological bodily resurrection all the time. Like my dad wants to be cremated when he dies, and I'm very much against that because um, I don't know, Mormon philosophy has gotten to me to some extent, and they said, well, you know, God can do anything, but if you cremate the dead, it makes it harder for God to resurrect that person. I heard somebody say that once, and I let it sit deeply in me, like, wow, these guys are really talking about resurrecting the dead, and that mummy in China, lady, what is her name? She's a mummy that has all of her flesh on her, and she's all rubbery, out of China, and she's like 5,000 years old. She's as old as the Egyptian mummies, and she's got all of her flesh on her, and like submersed in a liquid. And it's like, why are we not mummifying everybody that way? No, I don't know. Well, I've heard Ray Kurzweil, but is he on YouTube? Can I check it out? And Adam Smith, Joseph Smith was a con artist. You know that, right? Well, when I saw an orb, and then I sat there and I thought, who better to be a revelator than a con artist? Like the guy was searching for treasure, and you do what you think and what you do, you inspire of the world and the universe to reflect back on you. So why not that guy? Why not a guy searching for treasure, doing things that are overtly mystical, overtly magical in their thinking? Why not the universe reflecting back to that guy? I'm not in agreement with him. I'm not in disagreement with the con artist idea either. I just more look at it as a literary piece. Whatever he wrote, I look at it, whether he stole it whether or not, which some people say he stole it or not, and look at it as a piece of of literature to be listened to and thought about. But I myself am not Mormon. I'm not baptized in it, but I let the book, have its effect on me. Well, when I'm done recording today, I will make certain to put on some Ray Kurzweil while I'm letting my next pain med kick in. And I'll listen to some Ray Kurzweil and see what his predictions are. It must be aligned something with, you know, how the internet is going to affect humanity, how we're interacting with things. You know, the communicator from Star Trek became our cell phones. And instead of it being from a spaceship, it's from a satellite. And then, well, why not take the node that's in a satellite and send that satellite and people to Mars and, have them live in their ship on Mars while they analyze it and colonize it. And see, okay, this may sound stupid, but I already, like China is just throwing machines onto the moon now. And for whatever reason, when Dark Side of the Moon came out, not when it came out, but because it came out, and because I see video of Chinese on the moon, and because I believe in aliens, and I believe that, something is behind the scenes controlling things, whether or not you're spiritual or not, I suspect it. Because I suspect it, I'm more inclined to start to take my belief system and goo it out, stretch it out in a very thin, kind of, sinewy, I forget what you call gossamery way. My belief system surrounds my imagination, and I start to believe that not only are there aliens on the moon already, there's people on the moon, special projects on the moon. I mean, there's so many people right now living in Antarctica, and you never get feedback from that because it's mostly all government and military people. Do you think Kurzweil's singularity might have some parallels with? Well, because I don't know who Kurzweil is yet, I don't know of his particular notions of first contact, but I already think that first contact has happened, that we're dated, that people are just in the dark. I truly think people are just in the dark about other actual entities interacting. And I believe in, like aliens are like Santa Claus. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better not laugh. You better not cry. You better not shit the bed. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus. It's as if there's such a thing as universal preferable behavior because Stefan Molyneux made it. There's this idea of what goodness is and discernment in a civil manner. But these are all based on recursivity in language, so I believe there's still primitive forms of language where these concepts not only don't have meaning, they can't have meaning. They're untranslatable. But it doesn't mean that they're not spiritually empirical and don't see and live. These people, the Piraha, don't live in a particular manner that is an amazing way to live. I mean, they were gauged. The Piraha were said by a philosopher or a psychologist that analyzed them to be the happiest people on the planet. The happiest people on the planet do not have recursion in their language, so they cannot think in the depths, even in the most remedial depths, like counting as we can, and yet they're the happiest. Which makes me think if we were in the most primitive animalistic states, we would be happier than any other state we could possibly be in. But humans are creating bliss. Chicken wings, chicken butts. Let's see, I meant more generically as in first contact with exoplanetary cultures. Oh, like our first contact outward. Do you think his singularity might have some parallels? Oh, well, the idea that there's going to be an AI, an artificial intelligence, that forms a singularity, and within that singularity, then that will manufacture a contact with another species or another dimension of entities. Is Kurzweil suggesting something to that effect? Is that what you mean? Let's see. I think there's a correlation between Das Pooks feeding the machine and Ray's singularity. Singularity. Oh, okay, interesting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So did you pull up my quote yet? Did you find it on Google? Say, blood, y'all want to talk some titty? The best. See, the problem with Google is even if they do have the answer, their results coming back are limited now, which is another way of controlling the masses to keep them from finding and accessing the deeper knowledges that they truly want to have. So even the internet is being controlled by not only pollution but dilution. You can dilute the answers, you can dilute the people, you can dilute the results. Therefore, it's not going to be fully accessible, and it may never be. It may be kind of like this bullshit of universities, in order to access their documents, you have to be a PhD or a master's student and have a license from the school in order to access that document. I mean, I am still waiting for a day where all patents are at least, like given a time limit, and then they must go free. All art, you're given a time limit, and then it goes free. Everything becomes public. All documentation, all knowledges, all patents. I mean, that's what I want to see in the world. Oh, the obsessed, the universe. Oh, maybe I should just look them up while I've got everybody on the line. We're breaking an hour already. No one's docked, so this has been me meditating off of text from people. But I want to look up who this Kurzweil fella is. The name sounds familiar, but that's all I got. Oh. Kurzweil, accelerating intelligence. Great. A computer was licensed to drive cars in Nevada after being judged safer than a human. Humans were dethroned on Jeopardy in 2011 by computers. What's next? Will computers beat us in all tasks, developing superhuman intelligence? See, I think the fact that it is, if it comes out in the media, it's already dated. This is all primitive information already. It's like the Matrix said, we're living, a few hundred years earlier than how the universe is actually being run. It's just we're locked in Muggle land, and we're left in Muggle land. We're giving a piece of the pie. We're bringing up the tail end. So I don't know. I mean, the internet, just by being the internet, by being worldwide access to information, and having all these people's imaginations, and having all this new technology that is out, that is bought by the government and major corporations, and it is utilized to create some of the most absolutely mind-boggling engineering feats and chemistry, organizational feats. Just the mere fact that that happens. We want to say we're already on the cutting edge, that we're just finding out about it, but in a way, it seems like, I mean, if they can, if the NSA is as big as it is, and it's taken so long, I mean, it's been going around since, what, 2002? 12 years before it became public knowledge of what they're doing. It's like humanity is well in the dark about what's really going on. And I, I do not have 1 ounce of doubt about that. Turgle singularity, so many people leave after the second or two shower before the party. Well, that comment hits home, whoever you are, guest. No, man, don't mess with my head. What are my thoughts? Okay, well, I Googled it, but I'm not going to play anything from him. I'm not gonna read, because I want to make certain I'm drawing for the next 15 minutes or so that I'm recording the YouTube video. But I will do it because it sounds interesting, and it sounds like something I can spend part of my day doing today, listening to Kurzweil. What do I think of 2001: A Space Odyssey? I think it's nice because it's scary. Hal scared the shit out of Frank or Jack, or, hey Hal, I can't let you do that, Jack. Blah 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 blah. The takeover of the machine and the psychological response of being taken over, but for him to finally bust out of his being and see an embryonic yolk of himself parallel to the universe as an embryo of the universe. I love that theme. I think that's beautiful. That's like Dali's, I wish I knew the title of his painting, but where the man his head is caught in an egg, and it's got a blanket, a veil over the egg, and he's got one leg out, but the other half of his body is still in the egg, and on the outside is the wife and child. And it's like he can't get out of this fictional reiteration to get back to his family. or to even move to the family. And up above is this veil that's hovering. It's like that to me. It's Dolly meets um, Stanley Kubrick. You on the monolith. Any thoughts on the monolith? Well, I believe in rudimentary geometries. Pyramids initially in hyperbola, or not hyperbola, hyperbola, like in an hourglass, slicing an hourglass, 3/4 of the way down and having two like opposing, almost pyramidal structures facing one another. That's why I have these pyramids up above. I don't know if you can blow up the screen. Two pyramids above the Macabre, showing. It's because stars like the Star of David forming the Macabre and the pentagram moving into the hexagram, spirals. You take a pyramid and you spin it, it'll move into hyperbola or hyperbola, and hyperbola, the allowance of that was like that's the center of mystical collapse, where it was like a geometry of chakra systems and of self and of reaching interdimensionality. And so when I see Stanley Kubrick's obelisk, I think it's like, he has a bunch of cavemen barking around it, and then it shows up in the end of the movie. It's more like an identification with the most solid, one of the most, primitive geometric forms, and it's just there and black and hollow, and it's almost to have a, I don't know what to say about it, a debasing, vacuous nature to it, and yet kind of like a sphere, just a sphere floating. The thing that's different about the obelisk is that it's obviously intelligent, as opposed to being biologically natural, because it's not a sphere like a planet shows up naturally, and its square edges could not just come about in nature. So it imbues intelligence just by being an obelisk. And as far as the meaning of its geometry, I couldn't know, but its relationship to the cavemen shows a greater intelligence, and so that's why I think they're barking at this thing. And then by the end of the movie, he sees the baby, the embryo of the universe, one's relationship to birthing to the universe, as an advancement of being. I think it's beautiful. How about the transmutation of forms through hyperdimensional reality as communication? Well, that's what I was referring to, of these falling chakras within self, birthing to the universe, communicating interdimensionally, granting agency to all of one's environment. Like, I'm granting agency to you guys in your butt text. I'm feeding back on my own media that I'm painting. Different colors take on different value roles to me, different word structures. To me, these are all, it is a transmutation of my current dimension, and it's a form of communication with, like when I say I had this alien takeover, it occurred through all of my day-to-day reality, even down to a black cat crossing my path twice within 15 minutes. Like, it crossed my path, and that was a go sign, like go. like the train meant go and the cat meant starting line. But I forgot something back in my condo, so I had to go back and grab, I think I was grabbing a pentagram that a guy wrote to me that showed the different organs per each, like the lungs here, kidneys here, heart here, uh, liver here, and he had each one associated with a color and a directionality to it. And so it was like a legend for me, and I came back and I grabbed that. And when I went outside again, I got in my car and the cat went across the street again in the exact same direction as it was before. And I was like, oh, it means go. It's your starting point, go. And I just went, and I ended up driving clear up to Montana from Salt Lake in a single stretch on the Gold Line, listening to songs, letting all the songs mean something, until I ran into a series of golden butterflies that were getting caught in my grill. So every time I saw a butterfly get caught in my grill, I had to pull over the car and get out of the car and take it as gently as I could off the grill. And just like, I just hated killing it. It was like I was killing these butterflies, and I put them in a little box and I prayed for their resurrection, and I kept going and I kept going, and before I knew it, I bought 2 coconut rings. I was manifesting this dreamy wedding procedure, resurrection, interactive with the music and the media, and it was all interdimensional. It felt like alien communication. Just so at about 3 in the morning, pitch black at night, there was this huge electric red jellyfish, like 20, 25-foot, weird ass, I call it a jellyfish star, floating across the highway, and I was the only one on the road, and here is this alien thing that I knew I was invited to meet, and at the last moment, the words "curiosity killed the cat" came to mind, and I got so afraid of it, and the red was on it, and I just blew right underneath it and saw it in my rearview mirror. And so that's what I think about your question there. I hate this, but the reality in which I'm currently trapped in is pushing 10 at night. Gotta go, it was fun, made me think, so thanks. Take care, guest. So Swerm, are you anybody that I know already online, or have you been in the periphery the whole time? Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it's just the way I saw it. It's the way it happened. I invite it to happen again if it ever happens again, and so I stay open to it, but it's almost as if my day-to-day reality is so affected by stuff. I'm so sensitive to things that are like they're miscalculations, misfeeds. It's like when you're taken over, you pretty much know you're taken over. Well, I don't know if I'm helping you on the fruitful front, but at least maybe I don't know, maybe I'll invite you to imagine certain things, and maybe that will connect you, cue you in to your own interaction with what it is you're looking for. All I know is I sound like a fruitcake to myself, and I think to a lot of others, but then as soon as people, yeah, if they do chime into my videos and they hear me say what I'm saying, oh my God, if I can find in any kindred spirits that buy in their own lives into something similar to what I understand about my own life, then I want to know who they are. It's important to me. Very important. Alright, I'm finally moving down to the sub-level here, which is going to become more of a sexualized level, but I need to keep drawing. I don't know, maybe I'll do 2 videos, but I gotta keep drawing today and really hammer out more of this sketch, so I'll stay on Chinese chat for a while. But what I'll do is listen to that Ray Kurzweil. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in. And you know, if you ever want to disclose who you are to me sometime, that would be great. Otherwise, you know, you can stay anonymous as long as you want, obviously. But thanks for coming into the room. I really appreciate your questions. And have a good one. Alrighty, folks. Hour and 20 minutes. I'll let y'all go. Oh, let me show you what I did before I tell you thanks for liking my mohawk. Here we have some stalagmites and stalactites. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let me turn this off, or maybe I'll put that in Netflix. I'll check it out. Redid the burger and the pig up here. Put the pig on a stick. Did the coffin. He's stepping up on a coffin over here. And thanks for liking my mohawk.